Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley, and in today's Cook With Me, I will be sharing a Pinterest recipe that I found that is the Crock-Pot Cajun Chicken Alfredo. It is so good. It's actually a staple in our household. It ends up on our weekly meal plan, if not every other week. I hope that you give it a try because this did not disappoint. So let's go ahead and start with the ingredients. These are the ingredients that you're going to need to make the chicken pasta. I have the recipe over here so that I don't forget anything. We'll start off on this side so I can go ahead and show you. So you need the smoked sausage. I like this Eckrich one with the natural casing. You'll need some chicken breast. I do like the chicken breast tenders. It's just easier for me to cut up and to cook and all. So we'll use those. You'll need some ground black pepper, some garlic powder, some minced garlic. It asks for clove. The recipe asks for cloves, but I'm going to use minced garlic. And then you need some heavy whipping cream. You need some chicken broth. I like to get the low sodium one. Some of the penne pasta. I like to get the whole wheat penne pasta. Some Cajun seasoning. I'm going to be using some Tony's. I will say that the recipe calls for more salt, but since we're using the Tony's, it gets pretty salty, so we're just going to use Tony's and take out the salt from the recipe. And then we'll be using some Parmesan cheese, and I like to use these liners. It makes it so much easier whenever I'm cleaning. All I have to do is just take out the liner and throw it away. So we'll be using that. And then of course you need a crock pot. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting off by preheating the pan to a medium to high heat, and then I'm going to go ahead and line the crock pot. As I mentioned earlier, it makes it so much easier to just roll up the bag, throw it in the trash, and it's a quick cleanup.
I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened, but for whatever reason it stopped recording. But all I did was put in this whole container of chicken broth. It ends up being 4 cups, so I just put the whole thing in there. And then I put in 3 cups of the heavy whipping cream into the crock pot. Now, I did forget to mention that you do need to add butter. So I'm going to be adding in 4 tablespoons of butter. I like to get these little ones because it's already measured out 4 tablespoons. All I need to do is put this in there. So I'm going to keep adding all the ingredients in.
Look at these beautiful stars.
I'll be sharing the measurements as I go, but if you are interested, I have the recipe that I found on Pinterest down in the description box. You can check that out. So now I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of Tony's. As I mentioned, it is a little bit salty, so I did not add the salt that it calls for in the recipe, and I added the Tony's instead of just Cajun seasoning. I'm also adding in minced garlic instead of the cloves. I just like the taste of the minced garlic, so I'm adding in a 1 teaspoon, which ends up being 2 cloves.
Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.
Now that I've added everything to the crock pot, I just need to pan fry the chicken, and this is just a quick 5-second on each side pan fry. It's calling for more salt when I season this chicken, but I'm not adding the salt. It's just too salty. The very first time that I did it, it was way too salty. So I'm just seasoning the chicken with some garlic powder and some pepper.
Things got kinda awkward with sparks in the air. He would stare at her in class and she would try to act cool, but it was obvious, like ooh.
I am using extra virgin olive oil to pan fry this chicken, but you can use any oil just to fry it. Sometimes I'll use coconut oil or canola, whatever you have on hand, just to do a quick fry.
She said, write me a love song, 'cause I know you'll make it beautiful. And maybe I'll call you my sweetheart and promise nobody can steal me away. Then I am yours, 'cause I want you and I wanted you to know. He looked at her and then he smiled, picked up a pen and paper, started writing. Probably something about her eyes and how they're always shining, or something cliche like ooh. Baby, I only want you. It's true. And then he said,
once you're done cutting the chicken, you can set that aside. You're going to be cooking that with some Eckrich sausage, and actually it's any smoked sausage that's your preference. I personally like the Eckrich, so I'm just cutting up the sausage and then I'll be adding the chicken and sausage to the crock pot together.
Cause I want you and I wanted you to know. As he sang, she started to dance, grabbed his arm and took his hand. He held her close under the moonlight as they kept on dancing.
If you've watched any of my cleaning videos, then you'll know that I rave about this cutting board. It's one of my favorites, especially because it's so easy to clean. All you have to do is cut whatever you need on the mat. You wash the mat and then it's got like a slot in the back. There's about 6 or 7 mats, and there's one for beef, for chicken, for vegetables, for bread. It's just awesome. So if you are interested in this cutting board, I'll make sure to have it linked down below for you. The recipe doesn't specify how much pepper you need to add. It's pretty much your preference, but we love pepper in this house, so I added pepper now, but I actually added more once it was on my plate. I love pepper, and so does my husband. So now you're just going to go ahead and whisk that. You cover it up, and you're going to put this on high heat for 2.5 to 3 hours. I went ahead and did 2.5 hours, and it was just fine. The chicken was cooked all the way. And just like that, it's been 2.5 hours. Don't you wish it were that easy? So now you're going to take out the chicken. You'll be placing that aside, and you want to cut the chicken into small cubes. They don't have to be perfect cubes, just bite sizes. And for whatever reason, I don't know if I forgot to press record or if my battery died or what the case was, but it did not record me pouring in half a cup of water and then adding the penne pasta. You can leave the sausage in there. You'll close that up and cook that for another 45 minutes or so. And then you'll see that it'll jump to where I'm checking the pasta and it's ready at this point. I'll just mix or whisk that up, and then I'll be adding in the Parmesan cheese. It calls for 5 ounces. This bag is 6 ounces. I kind of already know. I'll just kind of gauge it and leave a little bit at the bottom, and that's 5 ounces. And then once you do that, you'll go ahead and mix it all together. Add the chicken back in there and then leave it closed. I like to leave it closed for another 5 to 10 minutes. It cooks the pasta or the penne pasta a little bit more, and then also it kind of heats up the chicken again since the chicken was out. So you'll just put that all together, shut it, and then let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes or so.
It's cold outside, and I kinda feel like calling, but it's
And here is a finished product. Please tell me that your mouth is not drooling right now, because mine definitely is just watching this again. As I mentioned earlier, this is definitely a favorite meal of ours. All 4 of our daughters that are eating currently, because I've got one nursing, but all 4 of them are loving this meal as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you give this a try. Let me know down in the comments below if you do, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
It's 2 a.m. and I can't